guys, welcome back to the shop, or shall I say the kitchen. So I wanted to always do a video on reconditioning cast iron cookware. I know a lot of people out there have this type of stuff in their homes, and the similarities between restoring a skillet or an old Dutch oven is really the same thing as a milling machine or a lathe. And you know, I've done a lot of those different types of machines, restored them, brought them back from the dead, and I want to do the same thing, or actually show a video of me doing the same thing with some of this stuff. So this is going to just be a fun, you know, couple video series that I always wanted to do this, and you know, again, I find the similarities are very you know, parallel to doing things in the shop. So all these pots and pans you see here are mostly, if not all, around, you know, World War II era or even earlier. So you can see that these beauties really last forever. I mean, unless they're just damaged, you know, outright damaged, or just, you know, soaked in you know, a pit of water and they just become pitted and rotted out and everything. If you take care of these things, they will last forever. You could pass these down from generation to generation and so on and so forth. And I'm sure all these pots and pans, you know, if they had ears, they could tell us some of the stories they've heard over the years. You know, they have history, and it's just a little bit of an interest of mine. I like the old stuff, especially, you know, cast iron. So again, we're going to show what it's like to get an old beat up skillet or a Dutch oven and recondition it and bring it back into full use, and that's it. So let's get started. So I wanted to give you a little bit of history of what I have here. I have a couple of different brands of these cast iron skillets, mostly BSR, which stands for Birmingham Stove and Range, and the others are Griswold. I might have a different one here as well. I think I do. Yeah, I believe this guy right here. This one is called Favorite Pikaware. You know, the company is called Favorite, and you know, glass smooth to the touch. Really, really nice. I mean, eggs will just slide all around in there. This guy is I believe it's a 10-inch or a number 10 Birmingham Stove and Range BSR pan. This is also a BSR. I'm not going to go into any of the history, or the ways to identify them. There's so many videos out there, and frankly, I don't know all the ins and outs about it, so I possibly could be giving bad information. So I just, you know, I watch what everybody else does. But anyway, this is a number 5 BSR, and you could see they must have put this on a lathe and just spun it, because you could see the machining marks in it. But again, this is like glass smooth. You know, this is perfect for 2 eggs. Put some butter, some 2 eggs, and it will literally just slide right around. This here is a Griswold flat griddle. I think it's a number 9, yeah, number 9. This over here is another BSR number 7 skillet. So this is 10.5 inches. You know, this is 3-4 eggs, whatever. But you know, these guys kind of all go together, almost like a set. This here is a Griswold. Now, Griswold was made in Erie, Pennsylvania. You could see the sign, Griswold. Nice and thin wall. They're nice and light, and you know, again, glass smooth. You could see some of the oil I'm wiping off. Glass smooth. This is probably Griswold and the brand Wagner are probably the most collectible. I think I could safely say that. They command really high dollars on eBay. Let's see, over here is another Griswold. This is a number 5. Basically the same size as this, again for like 2 eggs or whatever. Now over here we have a Griswold number 9 tight top Dutch oven, which is pretty cool. You know, you make your stews and chili and all that kind of stuff. This here is a Wagner. I forget what size this is, but it's probably like a number 8, I think. The number on it is 1268. Sydney, made in Sydney, Ohio. So you got Pennsylvania, you got Ohio. Pika ware, I think this was Ohio too. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. Now this lid, look at this nice cast iron lid. They got these rings in them, and you can see these got some kind of marks on them. And what that does is it collects the moisture, and then the moisture collects on it and then drips right back down. They call it self-basting. So all your food comes out nice. But this is actually in nice, beautiful, pristine condition. It came with this skillet as a set. So anyway, oh, and last but not least, we have this waffle maker. So you pour your waffle mix in here. You put this little ring here, goes over your burner, heat up your waffles, and then you just turn them. And this guy dates back to 1908. Okay, so my God, how old this is. But look at it, it's in great shape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this guy really as the guinea pig here. This particular Dutch oven, let me get some of this stuff out of here. Room. Alright, so this Dutch oven I found at a antique store. Now the one thing I can tell you about prices is eBay is the highest price. The next in line would most likely be an antique store. Third in line, you know, going cheapest, would probably be like a thrift store. Yeah, I'd say a thrift store or a garage sale. Garage sale is probably it's got to be the cheapest way to buy cast iron. And then the best way to have cast iron is to inherit it, because you usually get it for free. Anyway, I bought this guy for $13, and it didn't have this bail here, and it didn't have the lid. So I did an eBay search and I found the corresponding lid, and I found a brand new, you know, a new old stock bail for this. But as you can see, it's rusted like crazy. Now the process that you want to start off with when you get any pot or pan, used, inherited, whatever, is you most likely want to what's known as renovate it. And the best way to renovate it is you could either put it in a fire overnight. So you get this and you literally stick this right in a fireplace or a bonfire outside and let it just sit on the coals. Some people will advise against that and say that the intense heat of the fire could damage it, but it's never presented a problem with me. But there's also another way you can do it as well, and that is use your self-clean oven cycle. You put this in there on self-clean for about 3 hours, and again, a lot of this stuff is subjective. You know, you do a little bit of trial and error. I've never had a problem with the fire method or the self-cleaning, you know, the oven self-cleaning method. But you put it in there, let's say the self-cleaning or the fire, and it comes out, the self-cleaning oven comes out like this. You'll have this haze of rust, and all the food and all the, you know, the particulates on here, it just gets carbonized into dust. And then you're basically, you wash it off with some soap and water, and then it will flash up on you, as you can see right here. And then what we're going to do with this is we're going to send it into the electrolysis tank to clean it, and then we're going to season it, and then we're going to cook in it. With that, I'm going to do a couple of pots all together at the same time, so we'll put some in the oven and we'll self-clean them and renovate them. These have already been through that stage, as you can see. They're kind of rusted. But one that I do want to send in for a redo is this one. This one, you know, I have it wiped down with a little bit of bacon grease right now. But this guy always tends to it seems like it wants to develop little tiny rust spots. So the seasoning is really uneven on here, and it just needs a redo. So we're going to treat this guy as the pan that we bought at a store, or we got it on eBay or whatever. So we're gonna put this into the oven. We're gonna put it on a self-cleaning cycle. All this stuff is gonna turn to ash. We'll wash it out and then it will look like this. So we'll do these 3 together and then we'll cook with them. So let's get started. This is the actual Dutch oven that goes with that lid. So again, you just bought these at a thrift store, a garage sale, whatever. And then we put, where is it? Self-clean, staring me right in the face. 3 hours, start. We'll be back in 3 hours to see what they look like. Alright, well it's 3.5 hours later. It's much more than 3.5 hours later. I actually forgot about this stuff. But you could see all the stuff has turned to, you know, like a flaky powder. Alright, and this guy is, as you could hear how like scratchy everything is. Yeah, I'll look back there, you could see. So there's some, it looks like rust initially when it comes out of the oven, but that's, for the most part, it's not rust. So I'm going to take this stuff out. Yeah, you could see all the remnants of where like the food and the uneven seasoning was. So we're going to take this stuff out. We'll wash them up with soap and water and a scouring pad and get them down, you know, to completely bare metal, get all the remnants off. That's when they're going to flash up. And then the next step will be to put them in electrolysis. So let's get them out and we'll get them washed. So taking a closer look, here's what we're up against. You got what looks like rust, and it could be rust, burnt food particles, carbonized stuff, but just, you know, just to give you an idea of what you're in for. Pots and pans kind of look like this. This one is really dirty. Got all kinds of stuff on it. So let's give it a clean. Now, one of the rules of cast iron is never use soap and water. Well, soap really, but this is the time that you can, because obviously there's no patina or any kind of seasoning on it. So what I like to do is I like to use cold water. I don't know if it's true. I don't know, you know, if I could substantiate it or not, but I feel like cold water prevents rust a little bit better than hot water. I really should have some steel wool to do this, but I don't have any on hand right now, so we're just going to have to use this Scotch-Brite. And you could tell just by the rag has a little bit of rust on it. You could tell it's starting to flash up. Just slightly though. It isn't really as bad as if I used hot water. Hot water, these things come out orange in minutes. There you have it. It's, I don't know how well the camera is really translating the color, but to my eyes, you know, it's a nice cast iron piece. You know, the color is just like a gunmetal gray. You know, there's a little bit, you could see a little bit of haze in there. So what I'll do is I'll clean up the rest of them off camera. There's no need for you to sit and watch me wash dishes, but we'll clean them all off and then I'll get you back to see what they all look like when they're done. One of the things I forgot to mention was on the bottom of all these cast iron skillets and Dutch ovens, there's maker's marks, there's brands, there's embossed lettering. Embossed lettering traps rust. So, bringing out the big guns. And you could see right there what it digs out. There we go. That's a little bit better. One other thing I wanted to mention is when you're dealing with lids, right, and anything that's you know, that's got these ribs on it, it also has the embossed lettering. Lids like this collect a lot of hot moisture. Obviously the food is cooking, it's steaming up. If you have any rust on here and then you season over it, the rust finds its way out, it bleeds through, and it just gets worse and worse. It's unsightly. I guess it's probably not the healthiest thing to be eating globs of rust, but you really want to scrub these guys down here as best as you can and really make sure that your lids of anything are all derusted. I figured I'd let you see this one too before we clean it. Get one last before picture here. Well, here you have it. They're all done. This one definitely has some flashing in it. It just has a very slight orangey haze. But you know, I'm happy to report I got all the heavy stuff out. You know, the electrolysis will take this off really fast. This too. I feel like I got this one done pretty well. It's a little wet. But listen to the quality of these things. Listen. I mean, it's like they machined it all along this edge, here and here. And it's so smooth, and it just it's like a perfect seal. This guy came out pretty good, you know, just by washing it. Let's turn the camera over here. All right, nice and clean. Again, this will clean up nice in the electrolysis bath. And this favorite Picaware. See if you can see there we go. Favorite Picaware. This is, I believe this is Ohio as well. Smooth, a little bit of dust from the rust. Again, nothing the electrolysis will not have any problems with. Alright, we're officially done with this stage now, and I think tomorrow when it's light out I'll whip up a batch of electrolyte and we'll put these guys in the electrolysis tank. So until tomorrow, we'll see you.